Okay, so we're live again. We're dealing with day 23 of this perfect pitch challenge. And so far, I can tell you that, yeah, I've had some results, but not much. So either it's going to take a lot more time, or this is just something that can only be developed to a very small degree. However, before we get started, I may have to cut off early because I'm basically going to do this until the child wakes up, and then I'm going to go feed her breakfast and all that fun stuff. But in the meantime, we're doing this perfect pitch, well, relative pitch challenge right now, the flawless ear training challenge. So I have unlocked during August 11th to August 17th every single one of the videos that are currently available for the flawless course. Now, normally what I tell you is to never do more than 45 minutes of ear training a day and to stay on each lesson for up to 3 days. But this is a 1 week thing. They're only going to be available this week, and then they're going back to members only. And so what I suggest is you listen to as many of them as you can, because you should still be able to see a benefit, and you want to try and get as much exposure as you can. Think of this as sort of an intensive summer camp where you can go in and you basically get immersed in music. So this is an immersion technique. And I've done this before. Every now and then it's good. I think that every now and then you have to like push your ears to the limits, and you have to try and really push the amount of time that you do your ear training. But if you do it on a regular basis, you know what's going to happen. Your ears are going to get bored. They're going to get burned out. You're going to stop hearing things the way that you should be hearing them. You're going to get exhausted. But for 1 week, it's fine. I've done this many times myself, and I've always seen some really great benefits at the end of these weeks. But you don't want to push it much longer than that. So after this week is over, wherever you end up, just keep going at the rate of either one lesson per day if you are doing it daily, or up to 3 days per lesson if you're a little less consistent. So before I start the perfect pitch thing today, I want to talk a little bit about the art of ear training. So I'm sitting here and I'm giving you instructions. I'm telling you that you should either get 100% or you should spend 1 to 3 days on a lesson. And those are just guidelines. But I'm not you. I'm not sitting in your shoes. I don't know what kinds of things you're experiencing in these sessions. I have an idea because I've been teaching this for so long. I mean, 8 years in university and many years before that with my private students and my own work developing my ear. So I have an idea of what people are going through when they do these lessons. However, what I want to stress is that you have to be your own judge. You have to go in and you have to say, okay, where am I at right now? I am currently maybe getting 50% of the answers correct. If that's you, maybe you need to spend a few extra days on each lesson. But one of the reasons I'm giving this course out for the entire week is so you can kind of see how it works. Okay. So we're dealing with a perfect fourth and the perfect fifth, and we're hearing it in multiple different ways in units 1, 2, and 3. In unit 4, when we start to add the major third, augmented triads, and support additional chord progressions, we're still working with the fourth and the fifth, but we've added on the third now. So we start doing second inversion triads because the second inversion triad has a perfect fourth in the bass, and then a major third on top if we're dealing with major second inversion triads. And so we're still reinforcing the fourth and we're adding on the third. So what you're going to find with this course is we continually build upon what we have previously learned. And so you're continually expected to hear more. But at the same time, you're still getting drilled on the same concepts over and over and over again. I designed this course to work this way. I had 4 days a week in the university to teach ear training, and I would teach it sometimes from 8:30 in the morning till I think it was about 1:15. It was intensive on some days, depending on how many courses I taught. Other times it's only 2.5, 3 hours, but that's still a lot of time to teach ear training in theory. And this was Monday through Thursday. And so I figured out, okay, well, if I could create a step-by-step program where students came in every day and I incrementally made it harder what could I accomplish in 2 years? And that's where the flawless course really came from, is because I wanted to have a program that I could eventually come in and know exactly what to teach each day, so that after 2 years, the students would have all the skills they needed. But when I left the university, I started to view it a little bit differently. I started to realize, hey, this could help other people too. I was putting them online on YouTube so that other people could kind of learn from it. And there was a good response to it. People were really excited about it, and they were really encouraged by what the Flawless course was designed to do. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to go through and I'm going to go ahead and create this course for the public. And that's why we have the Flawless course now. But the goal is not to spend 3 days on a lesson. Honestly, we're not trying to spend 3 days on every lesson. We're trying to spend one day on a lesson at least 4 times a week. If you do it in the spirit of how it was intended, I would come in and train students on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Then they'd be gone Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I knew most of them were not practicing outside of class. For those that did, I would recommend other programs like Earmaster or Tone Gym, whatever program they liked. They could do that on the weekends, and it would supplement the training Monday through Thursday. And you can take the same approach. Try and get in 4 consecutive days a week. And then on the other 3 days, just play music, perform, improvise, write something, even if you're not a composer, listen to music, really get involved, dive deep into this so that you can really develop your ears and become much more successful. So it's up to you, is what I'm saying. The guidelines are there to tell you kind of, what program you could follow if you are not sure how to proceed. But really, there's going to have to be a point, preferably by about unit 2 or 3, where you start to say, okay, I am going to go ahead and commit to doing these once per day. And I'm not going to worry about how far I'm progressing or how many I'm getting right, how many I'm getting wrong. I'm just going to go through this because I know the course is progressive. I know the course constantly reinforces skills I've already learned. And I know that this course is going to take me through all these concepts we need to learn in music. So one of the questions that I get is, how far does this course go? Do you learn about polychords and things like that? And the answer is yes. You're going to be learning about chordal harmony, quintal harmony. You're going to be learning about secundal chords. You're going to be doing all these advanced ear training techniques as well. And sometimes people will get to about unit 3 or 4 and they'll say, okay, well, that's great that I'm learning about this pedal 6/4 progression or this cadential 6/4, but am I actually going to hear that in real music? And the answer is, you're missing the point. Okay, so those chord progressions are very common. Once you learn to recognize them, you'll probably hear them in music, but they also kind of sound like other chord progressions, okay? The goal here is not for you to walk away and be able to identify a pedal 6/4 in the wild. What it does, though, is it teaches you to listen for structures. And when you reach a certain point, when you actually finish this whole 16-unit course, what will happen is you'll have so much ear training under your belt that you'll basically become proficient. You'll become almost like a master of ear training if you were to get a master's degree, because it goes so in depth. You're going to learn so many different concepts. You're going to learn really all the main methods of ear training are kind of rolled into one, along with some of my own personal insights, my own personal drills that I've created just as experiments that worked out in my university setting. So what I'm getting at here is, I don't want you to worry too much about the grading. This is not a normal course. This is not a course where you get an A or an A minus, a 99% or a 95%. This is a course where you come in daily, and you consistently build skill. Think about it. If you play an instrument, right? How long did it take you to get good at your instrument? Can you even remember? A lot of people that get seriously involved in music start pretty young, definitely before the age of 10 in a lot of cases. That doesn't mean you can't be successful if you start after 10. It does make it a little harder, but think about it. Think of how slow you started in the beginning. You're probably playing very simple pieces in the very beginning, right? And it took a long time for you to master more complex pieces. You're training the same way. It takes a long time to master these skills. So don't worry about that. Just do the practice daily. And honestly, if you get out of these drills in 2 to 4 years, that's fantastic. And take advantage of this week where everything's free. Go in, listen to as many lessons as you can. Don't even worry about how you're doing. Just come in, lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4. Do as many as you can per day. Get whatever you can out of this week. All right, so let's do some perfect pitch stuff. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I actually haven't set this up, so we're going to hope that everything works the way it's supposed to. Here we go. So why don't you think about a B flat? I'm tempted to say C, because that's more in line with what I did at the university, but the focus note is actually F sharp. Let's think of a C. We're going to stick with C. Try and visualize that C in your mind. Okay, now I'm going to play it. Was it right? Was it wrong? Okay. I happen to get it right. I've been getting it right pretty much every day. Now, try and hear an F sharp. Don't use relative pitch. Try and search out that character of F sharp. All right, now let's compare some notes. Let's compare F sharp to C. I know it's a tritone, so that's going to make the F sharp's character stand out more. The tritone is dissonant, and so that makes the F sharp seem more aggressive. But you're going to find that when I play F sharp against other notes as well, it will still sound that way. So the F sharp, C. It's funny. It's like when I hear the F sharp, I almost imagine like a panning knob. And I hear it turned a little bit to the left, so the knob's facing that way. And yeah, you may be hearing some spatial distance from this piano, depending on what side the mic it's on and how it's actually panned in the program. But it's more to it than that. I'm actually hearing the F sharp like here and the C down here. C sounds more sunken into me. Okay, let's compare F sharp to other notes. Don't worry about what the notes are. You don't want to identify them. You just want to recognize, I hear a difference. I mean, you should be hearing a difference. Well, I won't say should. I've been practicing this for a while. More edgy on the F sharp. At E, it's something about it. Not going to explain it. Just going to recognize it and appreciate it. Very different. They were similar for a moment, but now I do hear a difference between these two. All right. These are all F sharps. Just listen to them. Try and recognize the similarities between each one of these F sharps. This is an E flat. That's an E. D. B flat. So definitely hearing differences between these tones. I don't think it's going to translate to the ability. Well, it doesn't seem like it could translate to the ability to actually hear these pitches, you know, just out of the blue. But you never know. There is definitely a difference. How do you memorize it? My theory is you kind of take a mental picture of it, play it back using audiation. If that works for you, if you can do that, that's kind of the goal here. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to play B flat, C, D, E, F sharp. One of these tones, you let me know what tone I'm playing. F sharp. C. E. D. B flat. C. B flat. C. B flat. C. B flat. B flat. C. B flat. E. C. D. D. C. C. I just realized I wasn't even looking at the piano. B flat. I was actually naming them by what they sounded like. D. Ooh, E. That one stood out. E. F sharp. I kind of went into a trance there, and I didn't actually know what I was playing, but I was saying the correct notes. So that was kind of interesting. I just kind of zoned out. C. B flat. All right, I'm going to play two tones. It's B flat, C, D, E, or F sharp. Try and hear what two tones I'm playing. Can you separate them? B flat and C. How about these two tones? Try and hear each tone clearly. What are the tones? C and D. What are the tones? D and E. What are the tones? E and F sharp. Now here comes the real drill. I'm going to continue doing that. We're going to do it in a cycle. It's always going to just move up that scale. We've been working on the whole tone scale starting on B flat. So you'll identify the tones, even though you'll know what they are, because I'm starting on B flat. The real trick here is trying to hear the difference in color between the two tones. So that's B flat and C. C and D. D and E. E and F sharp. Now we're going to go faster. Just listen. Okay, now I'm going to do this in a melodic sense, and I'm just going to repeat this over and over again. And this is going to be a little bit out of time because the latency is weird on my end. I'm hearing it delayed, which makes it hard to play in time. But here we go. There we go. Okay, so if you made it to the end of this, awesome. Let me know if you experience anything that's noteworthy, and go through the flawless course. Take advantage of it. It's 1 week, it's free, it's helped a lot of people. I mean, over 1,000 people that I know of have taken it. And then if you count, yeah, well, over 1,000 people have taken it since it in its current form. And I mostly receive positive feedback. Some people say it's a little boring, and well, that's only one person. But you know, ear training is not one of those things where it has to be entertaining. The point is, we want to develop real skills. Like, I'm not out here to create games or to create something that's just fun. I personally think the thrill of it comes when you start to hear the changes. I feel that when you can hear something you didn't hear before, that's the fun of ear training. And so for me, I actually don't care how boring an exercise is. I only care if it works. And so when we're trying to develop these skills, we need a lot of repetition. And that's what the flawless course does. And that's really what we're trying to do with the perfect pitch training as well. We only have a couple more days on the perfect pitch training. Conveniently, and I didn't plan this, it actually should end the same day as this flawless festival that we're doing. And I want to kind of do this every year. I want to make these lessons available. And this year was kind of impromptu. You didn't have much prep, you didn't have much notice, but in the future, we can do this thing where it's like a big festival where we all kind of communicate, share experiences, go through as many of these lessons as we can. And it's perfect timing. Why? Because a lot of students are about to go to graduate school or about to start music school, or it's summer. Maybe you have a little more free time. Some of us, not all of us, but it's perfect for just studying for those entrance exams so you can pass out of those entry level courses or refining your skills and getting ready for the fall season. And I just hope that you enjoy it. I hope you get a lot out of it. And remember, don't worry about the grading. Just do as many lessons as you can. It's for 1 week only. Don't worry about oversaturating the brain. That's kind of the point this week. I think this is why I'll do those flawless challenges every once in a while. That one time where I actually did, it was like 24 hours of ear training when I did the Unit 1 course. I think I did the audio version of the course, but I spent all day on it. You can go see that over on my Shorts channel. It's Musical Brainstorms. But I went through and I did the entire Unit 1 course in a single day. And what I realized during that, and I've done this before, but what I really realized during that is that it didn't hurt my ear. I didn't get tired. And part of that is because I've already mastered most of the stuff. So a lot of these drills, especially in Unit 1, are almost passive for me. I don't even have to think about them. I just know I can get 100% pretty much on all those drills. Although I haven't gone through the video ones, I've only really extensively gone through the audio ones in this little challenge. But I want to kind of do things like that every now and then because it really does boost your ear and it really does help you become more effective. So 1 week, go for it. Just get as many done as you can. And if you finish a lesson, say done. That can be kind of fun. It can be kind of motivating for other people. Just leave a comment. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you don't like, what you like. I read all the comments on here and just make it fun. And we'll try and motivate some other people to develop their ears as well. That's the whole point of this week is, I can't give it away free all the time, but every now and then it's just kind of fun to do something like this. And it's kind of a thank you for being here and supporting the channel and all that fun stuff as well. So having said that, I'm going to leave for today, but I'll be back again tomorrow. We're going to do the next day of the perfect pitch training. Who knows? Maybe when this is over, I'll still come on and do these live streams. But I think my time would be better spent for you if I were to continue just working on other courses. So Unit 4, the audio version, I have been working on it every morning. That's why it's 8 a.m. where I am, and I woke up at 4. So I'm working on these, getting them out quickly. I want to have all 16 units done by August 2026. which means over 200 lessons, you really don't have to spend a week on a lesson. I mean, it just wasn't designed that way. All you have to do is come in, do one lesson a day. If you can be consistent and do at least 4 days a week, then I would say you could probably get it with one lesson a day. But again, there's an art to this. And if you recognize that your ear is just really not adapting to the exercises, you're scoring very poorly, or you don't even know what's going on in a lesson, spend a little more time with it. Take another day. But don't feel like you need to get 100%. You don't, because the next lesson is going to do more of the same in a slightly different way. It really is like I'm coming to your house every single day and I am continually trying to expand your ear. So think of it this way. If I came to your house on Monday, we do a bunch of drills, call that lesson one. Okay. Now I say, thank you. That was a great lesson, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I come in Tuesday. I'm like, okay, we're going to keep working on what we worked on yesterday. But of course, it's going to be a little different because I'm adapting each day based on like kind of minuscule progress, just a small level of progress. And then I come in on Wednesday. I'm like, okay, here's a new day. I'm not going to do the same exact lesson I did on Monday or Tuesday. It's going to be a little different. And then Thursday will be a little different. Then I come back again the next week. Monday will be different. Tuesday will be different. Wednesday, Thursday. So they're all going to work the same concepts. We just gradually build on those concepts and keep improving. That is what the flawless course is. It's step by step. Every day you come in, we do a little bit more. There'll be some things you can't do, and it's designed that way. You're not supposed to be able to get 100% on any of these drills. I mean, if you do, that's great. And I mean, some of you will be able to, but the goal is to just be consistent, to come in each day, do a lesson, and then move on. And then where you get stopped is on the final exams, because right before the final exam, there's one for unit 1 and 3, but not for unit 2. That's intentional because 1 and 3 is kind of like the outline of the first level. It's where we learn the 4th and the 5th and some other progressions and things that have to do with the 4th and the 5th, you know. But what happens is right before the final exam, I tell you to go through and work on any lessons that you had trouble with. And that is what you would typically do for this binge fest that we're doing this week. Don't worry about that. Just keep going. But the idea is the final exams, you should be able to get a very high score on. Like only miss a couple questions in the entire exam. And I prefer you get 100% on the finals because the finals are easier than the core content. The core content is going to build you up, but the final exams, those are going to test what I actually need you to know before you move on to the next unit. So if you can get 100% on the final, you are good to go for the next unit. Now, I will also say, though, don't just go and take the finals. You know, don't say, well, Kevin said if I pass a final exam, I'm good to go for the next level. Yes, provided you did all the grunt work in the beginning, provided you went through every lesson in that unit and then took the final, because things are happening behind the scenes you're not aware of. This course is restructuring your brain. It is helping you hear music more clearly and in a different way. That's the goal. And if you skip all the prep work and just take the final, you've missed the point, because the finals are not that difficult compared to everything else we do in the unit. The finals are basically, at least in the first couple of units, intervals and chords. You know, that's all you really have to identify. Because I don't care if you can identify chord progressions yet. That comes later. But we're introducing all that stuff from the beginning. So, you know, keep going through these courses. Let me know how you're doing. And I wish you the best of luck. I wish I had time to go through this week, but I'm going to be working on a lot of other projects for all of you and my private students in my studio. So I will be monitoring the channel, though, and responding to questions as they arise. So feel free to ask me questions and enjoy this free week. And I will see you again tomorrow.